Imagine waking up one day and the internet is gone. No Google, no YouTube, no Instagram, no online banking, nothing. Sounds like a nightmare, right? But what would actually happen if the internet vanished forever? Before we talk about what happens when the internet disappears, let's first understand how massive it really is. Right now, over 5.4 billion people are active internet users. That's more than 67% of the world's population. Every second, 40,000 Google searches happen. That's 3.5 billion per day, meaning that by the time you finish this video, over 10 million searches will have been made. YouTube alone has over 800 million videos, with a total runtime of 3.5 billion hours. If you decided to watch every single video, it would take you over 400,000 years, assuming you never ate, slept, or blinked. Social media? Insane. Over 6 billion messages are sent on WhatsApp every day. That's 2.2 trillion messages per year. Suddenly, all gone. And let's not forget about online money. 90% of the world's currency only exists in digital form. That means the moment the internet disappears, almost all the money in the world vanishes. Now let's go step by step and see what happens the moment the internet shuts down. The first few minutes. Instant chaos. The moment the internet dies, the first thing most people do is panic. Your Wi-Fi stops working. Your phone shows no connection. You try to reset the router. Nothing happens. Businesses freeze because card payments stop working. In 2024, more than 80% of payments worldwide are done electronically, so people can't buy food, gas, or anything. Airports? A total disaster. Right now, over 100,000 flights take off every day, all coordinated through online systems. Without the internet, air traffic controllers lose connection to pilots, and flights are immediately grounded worldwide. You try to send a message. WhatsApp? Dead? Instagram? Gone? Telegram? Forget it. The only way to talk is by calling directly, but phone networks overload within minutes. And this is just the beginning. The first 24 hours. Society starts breaking down. The first day without the internet would feel like a mix of frustration and total confusion. People rush to banks, but there's a massive problem. 90% of the world's money exists only in digital form. Stock markets freeze, causing a global financial collapse. Millions of remote workers suddenly lose their jobs because they rely on Zoom, emails, and cloud-based services. And remember, hospitals depend on the internet too. Medical databases disappear, meaning doctors lose access to patient records, prescriptions, and even life-saving treatments. By the end of the first 24 hours, the world is in full-blown panic mode. The first week, a step back into the 1990s. Now that people realize the internet isn't coming back, they try to adapt. But life without the internet feels like being thrown back 30 years into the past. People are forced to use physical maps instead of Google Maps. GPS? Completely useless. News travels painfully slow. Instead of Twitter or online news, people have to rely on TV and radio like it's 1995. Schools and universities, which rely on online learning, research, and cloud storage, struggle to function. Students can't access books, materials, or even submit assignments. And for businesses, it's a complete nightmare. Amazon, Facebook, and Google collapse overnight. These companies rely 100% on the internet. Without it, they're worthless. Millions of small businesses go bankrupt. E-commerce, which generates over $4.9 trillion per year, ceases to exist. Factories and industries that rely on the internet for supply chain management struggle to keep running, leading to massive shortages of food, medicine, and fuel. And social life? Forget it. People actually have to call each other or meet in person. No more texting, no more scrolling, no more mindless dopamine hits from social media. The first month, the world enters a new era. By now, people have started adapting, but the world will never be the same. Government surveillance disappears. With no internet, mass data collection from Google, Facebook, and governments is gone. The dark web vanishes. Human trafficking, online fraud, cybercrime, 90% of it disappears overnight. hacking becomes impossible. With no internet, cyber attacks, ransomware, and data breaches are history. But let's not pretend it's all good. The economy is in ruins. Global markets relied on the internet for trade, banking, and commerce. Without it, businesses are struggling to rebuild from scratch. Education suffers. Universities and schools must now rely on physical textbooks, lectures, and in-person learning. Entertainment changes forever. Streaming services like Netflix and YouTube no longer exist. Instead, people go back to physical DVDs, theaters, and radio. The world is permanently changed, a step back to the old ways, but with modern consequences. The big question: could humanity survive? Now, the real question is, could we actually survive without the internet? The answer is yes, but it wouldn't be easy. The first year would be a disaster, with economic collapse, confusion, and massive job losses. But humans adapt. Eventually, businesses would shift back to pre-internet models, using paper, cash, and traditional communication. Governments would rebuild offline infrastructure, using satellites, television, and radio. In some ways, it might even make life simpler. No distractions, no mindless scrolling, no data privacy concerns. But at the same time, innovation, communication, and progress would slow down massively. So, what do you think? Would life without the internet be better or worse? Let me know in the comments.